Hello and welcome to my scrap room. I have made some changes, so I'm going to do a video tour that just shows you some of the changes to how I have my room set up. I do have a fairly large room and I have lots of stuff in it, so I'm going to do a room tour. I do these about twice a year because about twice a year I get the itch to move things around, and so I have moved things around a little bit, and I also have a modified video section since I did my last tour. So I will show you guys this. This will probably be a long video. My scrap room tours tend to be very long, sometimes like a whole hour or even longer if I break it up into really detailed sections. So in January I did a really detailed basically I broke up my room into zones and really reviewed in great detail how I store and organize all sorts of my scrapbooking supplies, and I really haven't changed the way that I store some of those things. So if you want to see, I know I really love looking and seeing inside of everybody's drawers and seeing all the stuff they have and how they have it organized. So if you're looking for that kind of really detailed video, I will encourage you to go and look at my January and February scrap room videos, and I will try to remember to link them in the information section below. So the biggest change for me, although it's probably not going to stand out as really obvious to you guys, the biggest change for me is that a couple of days ago we almost finished off the floor. So this floor used to be, it used to only go to there, I think, or there. Anyhow, this is a subfloor that's you buy in tiles, and it's fairly expensive. And when we originally finished the room, like, it's not really finished, so you see the bulkhead isn't finished and it's not really painted on the ceiling, and the door doesn't have any trimming around it, and the plastic is still on it because we haven't painted it. And so the room is really an unfinished room in a basement. There are no windows at all in this room, and so I rely on these two large fluorescent lights that I have daylights installed in them, and then I also have my two large video lights, and I have other lighting all throughout the room as well. And so lighting is really important in here because of the lack of natural daylight, and because it's a basement, having the floor done is important too, because it just keeps like little buggy things. And when this was unfinished, I mean, these wood tiles, they're plastic underneath, they're a subfloor, and they ended right there, and every time I swept, that was concrete and that was wood, and so it was really quite a hassle. And also my chair would keep falling off the wood ledge onto the concrete, and I've been sitting in a folding chair for scrapbooking since 2009, and I don't complain. It's not terribly uncomfortable or anything like that. I do a lot of standing and sitting when I scrap, but I've been really looking forward to getting this floor done so I can buy a wheelie chair and go from here to there, back to there as needed if I need to do my videos, or even just printing up pictures or using my Cameo. Of course, you know, it's not the end of the world using a folding chair, but it will be really nice. I've been looking forward to getting a proper office chair since I do spend quite a lot of time down here. So that floor is the biggest thing. It's not entirely finished. We ran out of pieces, we miscalculated, and so at the very end of the room over there, it's still not finished, but it's finished enough that I think it will be significantly warmer this winter, and I need to find some peel and stick tiles to put, mostly because if we were to put a laminate floor, it would make these that much taller, and this is attached to the wall, so we would have to detach this 17-foot desk and move it up however big the laminate flooring is. So anyhow, I just want a cheap, inexpensive peel and stick, but the only kind I can find these days is really, really ugly. So I'm just going to hold off and wait for that. So I'm going to walk into the room and show you around. So the part of my room that really hasn't changed very much is this part right here. So this is my Recollections cube / Jetmax cube storage, and and then I also keep tools on this pegboard right there. And so I'll just show you a glimpse of, this is my paper storage. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes of paper storage. And this is pretty much where my newer paper, and I don't have all that much new paper, but this is where my newer paper goes. And then I have, I show this in quite a bit of detail, so I'm not going to show too much detail, but I have these tabs to organize it by collection. And then over here I have pieces that are organized by color. And then I also have kits, like these would be old Scraptastic kits, or that I didn't end up killing. These are old collections, and these are, some of them are collection kits, like the I Am collection, for instance. I have the paper and a bunch of embellishments, so I just put it into kits and store it down there. I tried to store things in plastic on the bottom just in case, like I'm not planning to have a flood or anything, or, you know, but it gets dusty and grimy down there more so than other places. This is really cheap, inexpensive cardstock, and then this is better cardstock. And this is black and white and neutral cardstocks, and then this is kind of specialty papers and things. So one thing that has changed is I now store my Project Life stuff differently. So the way that I store it is I actually have these Becky Higgins Core Kit bases, and I just cut the back. I don't want to drop it, but I basically just cut the lid off of it, and then I use the tray to hold my cards. Now I used to have my cards, and I'm going to have to put down the camera to do this. Now I used to store my Project Life cards by collection, and I used my tab, my Stampin' Up! Tab punch to label them Jade and Honey and Clementine. Those are really the only core kits that I have right now. I have a very tiny amount of one other one that I forget the name of now. But anyhow, that's mostly what I have. And then I have some kits that I shared with friends and stuff like that, and kind of traded back and forth to get a little bit of variety in my kits. But that really wasn't working for me, because I found that when I was looking for a card, I was looking for a color of a card, not a collection. And so I decided to take the plunge, and I sorted all of my cards by color. It was quite a process, but I'm really, really pleased with the outcome. So I used my Stampin' Up! Punch, and I just grabbed scraps from my scrap drawers. So I keep my scraps organized by color just because I have the luxury. I've got a big room, and I have lots of these Jetmax drawers. So from the very beginning of my scrapbooking life, I've been storing my scraps by color. At first it was in little bins and folders, and then as soon as I had enough Jetmax cubes to dedicate a space in my room to it, when I was in the other room, which was quite a bit smaller, I still had this, and I found that it was really worth the investment of the space. And now I have more space, so it's definitely worth the investment of the space now. So anyhow, I just grabbed all of, you know, a sheet of each of the colors that I have for my Project Life, and I punched 2 tabs, one for the 3x4 cards that are that color, and one for the 4x6 cards that are that color. And then I just set about sorting. And the way that I sorted was, I basically, because they were all arranged by a core kit, so all of the similar ones, all of the same ones, like the duplicates, were all together. So what I would do is, if I had one side of the duplicates that I really didn't like, I wouldn't use it at all for sorting. But if I liked both sides of it, I would split them in half. So half I would flip one way and half I would flip the other way, and then just sort it by the dominant color. If ever there were 2 colors on something, then I would take half of that, which is already sometimes half, like if I've, do you know what I mean? Like if I flipped it, and then I put half in one color and half in the other color. It happened most often with blue and red, because there are a lot of blue and red, like mail stripes. So anyhow, I really love these sorted this way. And then I had originally had, both of these trays were pretty full. I guess they were spread out more, because now it seems like everything fits into a tray and a half. Anyhow, it seemed like both of these trays were full, and the other thing that's different is I was using the trays more like they're intended to be used. So each tray has one slot for 4x6 and then 4 slots for 3x4s. And so I had some 4x6 in each of these trays and some 3x4s in each of these trays. But what made better sense this time around is I actually have 2 lines of 3x4 cards in this 4x6 tray, because it made better sense for me to have all of my 3x4 cards together and all of my 4x6 cards together. So that's how I sorted it, and I'm really loving it so far. I haven't done too much project life since I've sorted it this way, but I really love it, and so I thought I would share that in a little bit more detail because it has changed. And then I just stuck some stuff back here, mostly just to hold the space. I also have grid cards designated, and I have a couple of specialty kits, like I have the seasons kit, so that if I'm ever looking for season specific cards, I can go there. And then these are specialty cards. Some of them are like cards that you fill in information, or they have like questions and you can answer it, or these are map cards. And then this is just to hold the space. It's just an empty box. So I thought I'd share that with you because it has changed a little bit since my last tour. So these drawers down here, I'm just going to have to get down on my knees to do this. So these drawers down here are basically just scrapbooking embellishments. So I have a drawer for rub-ons. I have a drawer for watercolor paper, and I also keep my print packs in here, but I don't have any print packs right now for my Epson Picture Make charm. And then this is specialty paper. So I have some of this stuff that you put on the back of stamps when you take them off of their wood blocks. I have some just like transparencies and tracing paper and just specialty paper. And then this is where I keep my embellishments. And for the most part, I keep my embellishments in these little cases. I really like them that way. Sometimes I'll keep them on their packaging and just kind of shove them in the back like that. And then this is where I keep, it says tabs and doilies, but it's mostly just doilies. There was a time when I used a lot of tabs when I was making a lot of mini albums, so I used to keep them together. And then this one is for brads, and I keep my brads. This is a little different than how some people keep their brads. I like to keep my brads sticking in these pieces of foam. So these are, let me see if I can get one out. Here's one. So these are the pieces of foam that come in packaging sometimes. They used to, actually white versions of this used to come in some basic gray sets of brads actually, so I would just cut it into the squares so that it would fit in here. The reason I store my brads like this is that I can see them with just a glance, and I don't have to kind of like, if they were just loose in the little containers, what happens is, see right here, they all go all different ways and you can't really see. It doesn't matter with these because they're all the same, but if it was mixed, I would have trouble seeing the ones and seeing what I have. So that's how I store them. And these gray cases are really awesome because they're low profile. They're very, very thin cases. I have 2 of them. I thought I had 3, but they're really, really great. I love them. And they're not something that you can buy. They came from a kit of beads at Costco many years ago, and I just held on to them. Okay. I keep my typewriter right there because it's easy for me to grab. My typewriter does come with a travel case, but I keep my travel case in the closet because it's easier for me to use it if I don't have to detach it. This is where I keep current layouts that I have made this month until my monthly recap. They stay right in here. And then these are layouts that I have for projects or things that I've made that I need to send to somebody, or upcoming classes, or things that are not ready to be put away or sent out yet. I'm hanging on to a couple of layouts for a couple of different people that need to get them. So then this is a binder that I just keep my plastics in for project life. And I just use these tabs to label them so that I know when I'm running out of one I can order more. Although I have plenty, I don't need to order more anytime soon. And guess what? More page protectors. So here I have a huge kit of just Design A, and I have some fusible plastic here, and 12 by 12 page protectors, and there's more Design A's underneath that. And then guess what? More plastics. This is sort of smaller specialty plastic, so I've got these snap flips that I love so much, and I'm running out of. I think I only have 3 of them left. I have some Becky Higgins dividers that I bought on sale. I have some little specialty sizes, and these are some, what is that called? Waterfall and waterfall photo sleeves that you can use with your fuse. I don't know exactly how you use them. Oh, I see. They're just a bunch of flips. I could use these. I could totally use these in the same way that you use these. So I'm glad I had a look at that, actually. So anyhow, I just keep those in a tray. These trays came with, there's this one and this one, and there's also another one somewhere else in my room. They came with a special Jetmax half cube that had these, they just stacked on top of each other, but I don't like to use them like that. I modify a lot of my Jetmax cubes just to help them work for me. You'll notice that I often will take out the shelves, I take out the drawers, I use the drawers as cubbies and cabinets and shelves and stuff. Let's see, where are we at? So this cube holds my Copic markers, which again I modified some Jetmax and used my hot glue gun to rig up this caddy so that it holds all my markers. And then I have my, whatever that thing is called, where you put a sample of each of your colors. I don't have a, well, I have a decent collection. I always find that I don't have the colors I need though, so I don't think I was smart about how I bought my colors. Anyhow, it's fine, I make do. And then I have my scoreboard and my mini sewing machine, which doesn't work right now. I need to get it serviced. Then I keep my stamps and dies right here. And these stamps are my older stamps that I used to keep my stamps on these. I have a video all about how to do this, and it was a really good way of storing stamps until it just got out of control. It's just like I have too many stamps now to store them this way. It takes too much effort to make these cards for my stamp sets. But like, for example, it was really cool back when I used it this way that I could just like thumb through and see all of the stamps that I have. These are some of my Kelly Perky and Studio Calico stamp sets that I really, really love. And so it would just be nice to be able to just kind of leave them in the basket and thumb through them to see the stamps that I have. Then I have this basket that holds my dies. And again, I really like keeping things in baskets that I can thumb through because and I also use these Avery sleeves for most of my, especially for my Lawn Fawn stamps. So I keep like similar stamps or similar dies together. So these are all my border dies from Lawn Fawn. And then I keep all of my rectangles together. So I have my rectangles, my scallop rectangles, and I think I have my rectangle frames, or maybe I don't have rectangle frames, but I do that with these too. Like I have the circles and the larger circles, and then the scallop circles, and then I have the frames together too, the rectangle frames and the circle frames. So what I'm trying to say is I try to just keep similar things together because I reach for them at about the same time. And I just put a couple of random dies that have stamps that match them because I didn't want to forget that I have the stamps for those. And I still have some nestabilities that I used to store on these magnetic sheets, so I cut them down so that they would fit better in my basket. I wanted all my dies to be together, and so over the years I've changed the way that I store things, and so that means that sometimes I have these hybrid storage approaches where, for example, my stamps are here, but then my newer stamps are here. So these are two drawers that I didn't put into the cube that they belong in, and I just use them here as bins, as cubby bins for storing my stamps. So I have all of my Scraptastic stamps right here and here. I've been kind of like flirting with the idea of sorting them out, so that's why the packaging is all weird. And then I keep my Lawn Fawn in these two front pockets or cubbies or whatever you call them, and I keep them in these Avery, what are these called? These Avery sleeves, and I keep the die on the back, the die set on the back, and the stamps on the front. And so these are all of my stamp sets from Lawn Fawn that I have the dies for each of these. And a couple of them are not Lawn Fawn, but most of them are Lawn Fawn. And then these are Lawn Fawn sentiments, and if there's dies, I keep the dies here. These are mainly sentiments and borders and things that have multiple uses. So speech bubbles and hats and sentiments and stuff that you can put on like almost any card would go there. Because you know, I make so many cards, it's important for me to have lots of supplies. That's totally sarcastic. I don't make many cards at all, but I do love making them. Okay, so here is my green wire basket from Michaels that I use to keep all of my Project Life stuff in. Not my cards. My cards are there. I had this idea where I wanted to have a portable Project Life station, but it turns out I don't really enjoy hauling everything upstairs. It's a good idea, but I don't actually do it, so it's not that good of an idea for me. So I am much more comfortable doing my Project Life right over there where I do everything else. So this becomes my little bunch of supplies that I frequently dip into for Project Life. And I just bring it and I put it right there while I'm working. I actually don't bring it, I just bring this box here, which is an old Becky Higgins core kit box. And that way I can leaf through all of my letter stickers. Stephanie Hart gave me some more Sassafras letter stickers. Oh, love those. So anyhow, anything that I've been drawing on lately for Project Life is in here. Then I have my washi tape sorted in these. These are washi tape dispensers that you can get from Michaels. They come in a set of 2, and they have a dowel that you can put, but I find it cumbersome to use, so I don't even use the dowels. I just use it as a little bin to keep washi in. I have them roughly sorted by color. And then I have my Stampin' Up! Stamps, which are all pretty old because I don't really buy Stampin' Up! Stamps anymore. I used to be a demonstrator, so I had invested in a bunch of them, and I used to make a ton of cards with them too. But they've, I will sometimes dip into them, but I don't use them all that often. Then this is my collection of 6x6 paper pads. And most of them are old. I haven't bought 6x6 paper pads in a while. I did win one and receive a couple of them. But it's been over a year since I've bought a 6x6 paper pad. Although I got some in some design team kits and stuff like that. This is my Wheel of Wonder, which I haven't used yet, but I made it, and you just kind of like set out your arrow and then you spin to find out what your challenge will be. So stamped journaling is my challenge if I were to do this right now. So I keep that there, and along with it I have some just stuff for stamping. I have my Misty tool and some extra foam for stamping on. I keep mostly tools on this pegboard, so I have my Crocodile, and I have this basket that holds my circle cutter and some of my, well, all of my punch boards. I have 3 of them. And then I have this shelf that it came with a pegboard set of stuff for pegboards. And I have my spinny, does it spin? Yeah, it spins. My spinny ink holder tool, which a YouTuber sent me. Allison sent me that, thank you. And daubers and stuff that go along with that tool, or those tools. And then I have my fringe scissors right here. I have space for another tool that I don't have yet. And I have my giant roller stamp. And that's some artwork by Stephanie Hart and a New York City piece of pattern paper from Studio Calico from Stephanie Hart. And a picture of Central Park that I bought in Central Park. And up there I have some collectible figures. I have some pop vinyl figures from Big Bang Theory, and then I have some Disney Vinylmation. I get Disney Vinylmation every time I go to Disney, which I've only been there twice, but then people buy me. I bought more than one the 2 times I went there. I bought like maybe 2 or 3 each time that I went there, and then other friends and family have always brought me one back. And you buy them blind, so you don't get a choice of which one you have, although I have some New York City ones. Oh, also whenever I go to a city that has a Disney store, I'll also buy one for that city. So I actually have 3 from New York City there, and yeah, a couple of specialty ones too. I keep my Xyron sticker makers up there because they look so pretty and I don't use them, so they might as well look nice. And then I have my non-sticker letters here. So these are any chipboard letters and tile letters that don't have adhesive on them, and they're just in a flower pot, and then some extra ones are right here. I have colored embossing powder here. I have some childhood collectibles from that I had when I was a little kid. And then this is just random stuff. And then this is my alphabet stamps. I keep them in this bag in bag. I have a review of this bag in bag and how awesome it is, and it's great for lots of different things. And I keep all of my alphabet stamps in there. I keep the smaller ones in the pockets in the front, like so. And then I keep the larger ones in the middle. I can't remember if for my last video if I was storing my letter stickers in 2 baskets or in 1, but I outgrew 1 basket. So now I have all of my colored thickers. I do repackage my thickers into my own clear bags. I buy 6 by 12 clear bags. I buy the ones that don't have a Ziploc on top because I like to just slide them in and out, and I store them upright so they don't have to have a seal on them. And I basically take apart the original packaging and I re-glue this label to the top, and then you can store multiple, if you have multiples of the same font, you can store multiples in there, and it's just a lot easier for sliding your letter stickers in and out of than using the original packaging. So I do that, and you can get those clear bags on eBay. Just search clear bags 6 by 12 and you'll probably find lots of options. So I keep my white and colored thickers here, and I just use that same Stampin' Up! Tab. I use that all over the place for dividing out my colors. And then all of my black ones are here in this smaller basket, and a couple of other weird things here relating to letters. And then all of my smaller letter stickers for subtitles and journaling and that sort of thing are in here. So it's nice to have all of my letters together. I've got letter stickers, letter stamps, and non-sticker letters all together. I like that. So this is my pegboard that is rather useless, or not as useful, now that I have my lighting set up the way that I do. I used to be able to hang Kit Club stuff up there and sit right here and just have a look up and see what I have, but as you can see right now, if I do that, I can't see the pegboard at all. All I see is a blindingly bright light, so I don't do that anymore. But I've basically kind of rigged up a couple of shelves here that I can put random stuff on, so I don't really have a good place to store these Prima chalk inks. I really love them. I also have some generic stamps that I want to try to use some of these shapes a little bit more, and there's some splats on here too, a couple of different stamp sets that have splats. So my idea was to leave them there, and maybe I'll remember to use them a little bit more often. And then this is my new, it's just new to me, it's not new or anything, but I just got these piercing, I got these a while ago, and then I just recently got the Stampin' piercing mat and also the piercing tool, which I keep someplace different, but I just keep this here so that I can find it when I need it. And then there's nothing on that shelf yet. And I just keep my scale for sending out parcels in the mail right there. This is where I keep my kits. It's a Recollections, it's not really a cube, it's 6 inches wide by, I think it's 13 inches long, and you can fit 12 by 12 paper inside of it. And then there's also this less deep part of it right here so that you can put some smaller things and they don't get lost down in the giant hole. And then there are compartments in the front. I keep my Scraptastic kits in this when I get them, and then I have these valet travel trays that I put the embellishments in and just slip it in there. I have another tray, a divided blue tray, that fits really nicely in there, but I like having my stuff in these valet trays. I work better with them like that. Okay, so my workspace is a little bit different. So I have this thing rigged up. I have a video about my new video setup, so I'll link that instead of talking about it ad nauseum right now. But suffice it to say that my video camera that I'm holding right now is usually attached to this doohickey and pointing down, and then you can see my process. I have these 2 lights and I have them on a remote control so that I can turn them on really easily, and all of my things that I reach for while I'm scrapbooking are right there. So I have a couple of different types of thread that I sometimes use. I have my Distress inks that I don't use all that often, but I'm hoping to use them more. I have some neon inks and some pigment inks from Mama Elephant. I have a whole bunch of Liquitex acrylic ink and a whole bunch of mists. My sequins are there. My milk paints are there. And then stuff that I don't use as often is up there. Those are neutral mists. So I think I talk about on my video setup video, I talk about that tripod there and that microphone there and how and when I use that, so I'll refer you to that if you're interested in my video stuff. Then I have these cubby holes for my markers. I put my journaling markers there, my slick surface writers there, specialty pens like gel pens and stuff like that are right there. I've got dual brush pens right there, glitter pens, my microphone, Stampin' Write markers mostly, my Prisma colored pencils, and Stampin' Up watercolored pencils right there. And I keep Gamsol in with my colored pencils, I think. No, it's in with my coloring stuff. So right here, I think I already told you I keep my scraps like this in these drawers. This is embossing stuff and re-inkers, and some of these aren't in use, but that's what that area is. And then these are my main things that I reach for when I'm scrapbooking. I keep in this set of drawers here and this set of drawers right here. So my idea is that I want to keep the things I use the most really handy. And so I do also reach over here to these drawers here that have general embellishments and doilies. I use those the most of the non stuff that's in these drawers, but for the most part, I want to keep stuff pretty close at hand so I don't have to move to go get it. So I keep general stickers right here, and the way that I usually do it is I have repetitive sticker sheets here and then unique sticker sheets here. Journaling is a big mess of stickers of all different shapes and sizes, but basically if it's empty and has room for me to write on it, it goes in here. Borders are here, although people aren't really making border stickers all that much anymore, but it used to be a thing, and so I have a drawer just for borders. These are word stickers, different sizes and shapes and colors. And then I have my ribbon drawer, which is kind of messy right now, but things worth noting is that I have drawn a ruler here so that I know how, like if I'm making a card, for example, I know that I want it to be longer than 5 or 6 inches, but not too much longer, and I'm bad at judging length, so that's important for me. And I also keep a pair of ribbon cutting scissors in here, and so there's a ribbon tied around it to remind me not to use these on paper. And I keep a piece of tape, or a roll of tape, Scotch tape, so that after I use the ribbon, I can, in theory, roll it back up and tape it back together and put it in here. And I usually do that. I just have some loose ribbon here that I haven't addressed yet. But yeah, that in theory it works. And it usually does work quite well. I mostly use ribbon on cards. Ooh, sorry about this. This one is noisy. Sorry. Extra ribbon that doesn't fit in my ribbon drawer. And this is mostly twine. Twine and string. And some ribbon that doesn't fit above. I keep my Stampin' Up! Garbage bag hanging on a command hook, and my heat tool hanging on a command hook, and it's always plugged in and ready to go. And then right here I keep all of my die cuts are sorted by color in these little clear photo cases. Love storing my die cuts this way. I absolutely love it. I was really reluctant to do it. Jen Scow, I know that lots of people do it this way, but Jen Scow is the person who I saw. I just have these little punches of washi tape and they keep peeling up because washi tape doesn't stick to this kind of plastic very well. But it works for me. I do enjoy it. So I have them all sorted by colors. And then these are some older ones that I didn't sort by colors yet that I'm just trying to make sure that I use up. So I have them right there. I have chipboard in this drawer. And any 6x12 sheets of chipboard just go here, or any sheets that fit there go there. These are flowers, these are butterflies, these are hearts, these are arrows, and then these are kind of generic iconic shapes that are easy to use in multiple situations. My little trimmer that you guys see me use a lot. All my wood veneer is in this cubby right here. I store it in these stackable clip cases that I got at Michael's, and my bigger wood veneer is right there. My label maker, which I don't reach for all that often. I have 2 or 3 label makers for some reason. Yeah, I have 3 label makers and a whole bunch of tape. And then I have, oh, this is my secret drawer of shame. These are my unsorted old embellishments that I don't know what to do with. Oh, there's some sassafras in here. I know what to do with that. Hoard it forever. I'm taking that out. And I'm putting it in my secret sassafras drawer. There we go. Okay, so anyhow, this is, we're just not going to talk about that drawer. Then I keep my buttons and flare. Buttons and badges both together. So I keep my flare. I just glue it onto this board. It's hard to get them off sometimes, and it rips the board, but I don't care. I just started doing it that way, and I don't want to change it, so I'm just leaving it. Even though it doesn't work that great, at least I can see them all. Again, I don't want to keep them in a, it's kind of like what I said before, I don't, with the brads, like I don't want to just keep them in a basket. They do look cool in a basket, but I don't want to have to like sort and look through them. They would actually look really cool in a basket. Maybe I should do that. Anyhow, my buttons. This case of buttons makes me very, very happy. I love things sorted by color.